So, not all psychics are mediums, but all mediums are psychic. And when I say medium, I'm referring to a particular type of psychic who can communicate with spirit, meaning those who are either deceased or on the other side or are spirit guides. And there are different types of entities. I call them entities. They're not all ghosts. Some of them are guides that are here for specific purposes. But being able to communicate with those spirits are particularly unique to someone who is a psychic medium. And the word medium means middle. So it's referring to being a middleman or a middle woman between someone and the spirit world. And that's literally how it works. So it's different for everyone too, the way that they're able to pick up on these energies. So some people might hear them, some people can sense things about them. Sometimes they'll send mental pictures to your mind. It's unique for everyone. It's really different for everyone. The way that I experience it in particular is that I sense a lot of things. I can also be shown pictures, something that they're trying to relay to me. And sometimes I'll hear things as well. Also, the way that it works with residual energy, there tends to be energy that can be tied into an object or a place. So some object, particularly metal objects, will hold the energy of the person who owned it. And you can tell a lot about the person through holding that object. And that's called psychometry. I also can do psychometry. I can hold an object and I'll be able to tell you things about the owner or something that happened, with that object. And the way that that also works as well is tied into a place. And that, for me in particular, is a very powerful experience for me. If I go to a place where something has happened there in the past, I can pick up a lot from the energy of the place. One example of that, I live in New York City, and even 10 years later, when I go to ground zero, I start choking as if I'm choking on smoke, and I can smell smoke, and I can feel fear. So that energy is tied into the place, and someone who's a medium or a sensitive can pick up on that. I also, when I was at Gettysburg, I could just pick up on a lot of these young men that had died there. Some of them were still there, things they were trying to relay to me. They were confused that they died. Even those that had passed on and had been reincarnated, they still leave a residual piece of energy behind in that place where something happened. And there's an interesting tie-in to the past life work with that as well, where, related to the shamanic practice of soul retrieval, which is the idea that when something traumatic happens, a piece of your soul is splintered off and left behind. And that healing work requires journeying back to retrieve that piece of your soul. And it's really interesting how my experience with different places as a medium have really felt that. I can feel those people's energies there, something terrible that's happened there. So particularly places and objects, and then also when I'm around people, I can pick up on their spirit guides, their deceased loved ones and relatives. There's a client I was working with who has a grandmother who's in a coma, and she actually is in Asia right now in the coma. And the way that she looked to me, she looked like she was fading in and out. The way I would see her was coming in and out, and it's because she's drifting in and out of different levels of consciousness. And that was interesting too. I wasn't sure at the time why she appeared like that, and then later the client told me that she's drifting in and out, clinging to life, and towing the line to the other side. So it's really interesting how these abilities as a medium tie into my work doing past life regression, and I think that there's a lot more to discover.